To this now, the City of Johannesburg's Emergency Services says it is continuing with its campaign to ensure that shop owners comply with the city's bylaws over the festive season. The city launched its safety campaign last week and inspected shops in the inner city this morning. Johannesburg Emergency Management Service spokesperson Robert Mulaudzi joins us now to unpack festive plans to ensure that residents are safe with quick response during the holidays. Thank you so much for your time, Mr. Mulaudzi. Perhaps let's start here. Let's talk about this inspection that you did this morning. How did that go?
Yes, the activity went very well. We were conducting inspections, making sure that there is compliance, which is one of our responsibilities. And as we know, as a City of Johannesburg Emergency Management Services, we have got a responsibility in terms of making sure that residents are aware of the EMS regulations, which are strictly focused on EMS, and also there is also compliance. So it went very well. So that is what we will be continuing towards the festive season, because you will know also that if there is a good compliance, it also assists us to ensure that we don't have incidents which might occur maybe towards our festive season also.
Indeed. And is it all systems go ahead of the festive season insofar as making sure that all residents get quick and prompt response to their emergencies?
Part of our initiatives which we do with ODC throughout the year. We are not just now, because it's festive season, trying to start now running around to ensure safety of our residents. The City of Johannesburg Emergency Management Services has been proactive for some time now through the unit which we have, which is called PA, Public Information, Education and Relations. We have got men and women who throughout the year normally go out to communities to educate them about all fire and life safety educational programs, be it depending on the season. It can be like fire safety, it can be flood safety, water safety, and so on. So the community outreach programs from our side is something which we do throughout the year with the aim of making sure that our residents are empowered with a bit of knowledge to deal with emergencies as and when they occur in their community. So for us, it's a continuation of what we have been doing throughout the year. And then over and above, that one, we also have centers in our communities which are spread in all 7 regions of the city. We call them P-Safe centers, where our residents are also able to come in, get trained in terms of basic firefighting, first aid, and other programs, just to ensure that our residents are aware about dangers, what is it that they can do if, as and when they come across these kind of emergencies on a day-to-day basis. So that is what we are doing now as an emergency service in police, because we cannot really be measured by the number of incidents which we respond to, but we believe that we need to ensure that our community is empowered, our residents, they know exactly what to do, what is it that they can do when there's emergencies, which numbers to call, and so on. So we want to make sure that we empower our residents with the lots of knowledge and information to be able to deal with emergencies as and when they occur in their respective communities.
And speaking of all these emergencies that might arise, Mr. Mulaudzi, I know residents have been also grappling with some of the elements. We've seen the heat wave as well. I want us to talk about how this has affected some of the residents in Gauteng, and have there been any serious incidents related to the heat wave, and how do people just make sure that they are safe during all these high temperatures that we see?
Yeah, you're raising another very important issue, because right now our residents need to be aware about, the changes of weather patterns. Lately, when it's hot, it becomes extremely hot. When it's cold, it's become extremely cold. So our residents need to have some kind of knowledge as to what is it that they can do. So in terms of the heat wave, how can our residents survive this kind of heat wave? The heat wave, mostly we're encouraging them to stay hydrated, make sure that they drink lots of water. Also try and avoid direct sunlight, especially between 10 and 3 in the afternoon, because that's where it's extremely hot. And also those people who are working directly into the sunlight, we encourage them to take regular breaks to hydrate so that they, they drink lots of water, because exposure to this kind of extremely hot temperatures, the residents might experience some cramps, they might experience exhaustion, and also they might experience some heat stroke if they are exposed to extremely hot temperature. So those are some of the things which we encourage our residents to ensure that they are out there. If those who are working directly into the sunlight, also they can also apply some sunscreen just to ensure that those extremely hot temperatures, they don't affect them as and when they're doing their activities out there. We also have a high risk in terms of felt fire, since now the felt out there is much more dry now, so there's a high risk of us having some felt fire. So those are some of the precautionary measures which our residents need to take so that they are able to survive during these extremely hot temperatures.
And Mr. Mulaudzi, it's also during this time where we see a surge as well in drowning incidents. So maybe let's just hear from you in terms of water safety. What is it that residents should be doing?
You are raising another very important point now, because if you look at the season which we are now, the December season, most of the people, they are more relaxed. They are visiting the families. They are visiting most of the areas of entertainment. Most of them, those areas will be your swimming pools. And then our experience informs us that most of the people who visit these kind of areas, they don't have the necessary skills. Like, for instance, they go out there, most of them, they go under the influence of alcohol, they try to swim. Most of those people, they don't have the necessary skills. So we're saying, if you don't really have the necessary skills, we encourage you to stay away from areas where, there's water, because the possibilities of you drowning is much more higher. And even if you are under the influence of alcohol, of course, the chances of you drowning is very much higher. And also, we've got also the people, not only people who are maybe entertaining themselves, but in Johannesburg, we also have a huge challenge in terms of people who are drowning, for instance, when they're conducting some kind of rituals. It can be a church or the cultural, baptism or cleansing rituals. Most of the people are visiting river streams, which might be dangerous. Most of them, they visit these river streams at night, where there's a risk of people drowning. So we have taken it upon ourselves to say, hey, we cannot really continue responding to this kind of incidents, where people are being swept away while they're conducting rituals. I mean, how do you conduct a ritual at midnight, where you can't even see what is it that you are doing around, what is happening around you? So we have partnered with our faith-based organizations, which is mostly traditional healers, your bishops and pastors. I mean, we already started conducting these campaigns in area like Alexander, where we have been training the faith-based organizations about the safety measures which they need to ensure when they visit river streams and so on, to ensure the safety of the congregants. Because you will know, Mtolisi, that during December 2022, we lost about 15 people in one of the river streams in Alexander who were busy conducting a baptism or cleansing ritual. And then there was a storm which came on, and then 15 people were swept away. And then unfortunately, all those people will just recover their bodies a day after that incident, which we're saying now, that's what we are proactively trying to prevent, to make sure that we don't come across those incidents again during this festive season.
All right, that spokesperson there for the Johannesburg Emergency Management Services, Mr. Robert Mulaudzi, joining us there. Thanks very much indeed for your time on the program.